Hello and welcome to Long Island Weather Update and Outlook. It's a quarter to 10, July 28th, 2024. And you can see here's that unusual coastal system throwing clouds our way. You can also see the smoke sort of getting pushed back to the west a little bit. That was still pretty, the air quality didn't seem great today. I think they got a little better this evening. Thanks to the storm, you could definitely see that smoke being pushed to the west. And let's look at the radar right now because we do have showers moving in. Looks like it's starting to rain. It's raining across the South Fork. That's going to all make its way westward. We'll roll the radar loop here, and you'll see that rain making its way westward from this subtropical low. We'll call it that. It's not purely a tropical storm, but it's very unusual, to say the least, to see this thing kind of just develop here. Looking at the MODIS satellite, you can see it here on the MODIS satellite. You can see it's got more of a comma shape to it, but very unusual. You do have some tropical characteristics in it. Definitely some convection going on. And look at that. You can see the smoke, again, sort of being pushed back to the west. There's like a line of it there that's being pushed back to the west from this big system here that we've got going on. So, yeah. Let's look across. Let's first look at our current conditions outside right now. And you'll see we have mostly the effects from the storm part of this is going to be mainly felt over the east. Looks like high surf advisories for coastal New England and a small craft advisory. None of that has been issued for our area yet. And probably won't be because that effect will be probably staying off to the east. It's pretty cool out there. 73 degrees. I should have checked what the temperature was in the alley, but I didn't. Sorry. 73 and a dew point of 61. Still, manageable humidity. That's going to be on the rise today. So let's look at our highs and lows for the day. Highs across the air. Definitely a pretty warm day. If you go further to the west, upper 80s, mid to upper 80s. JFK actually got to 90 degrees because of that northeast wind. Heading further out east, Islip was 84. Still mid-80s. Some areas were a little cooler, especially toward the east end where they had more cloud cover. And then off to the west, the Central Park got up to 86. Yeah, rare as JFK, warmer than LaGuardia, but it was. 90, JFK was 86. That's really interesting. And also near 90 in Jersey as well. So inland, there was more sun, and despite the northeast winds. Very interesting. Lows, 61 degrees. So we had lows generally low 60s in the Pine Barrens, ranging to the mid 60s everywhere else. And the more urban areas were obviously didn't get below 70. That probably would include my alley. Looks like the Pine Barrens west of Toms River did get down to 57. So yeah, kind of an interesting day. And we'll go and look at JFK's observations because feel when that sea breeze came in, the temperatures dropped quite a bit. But looking at what the day was like at JFK Airport today, this kind of explains what was going on. So they had the northeast winds near 90 degrees, and then the winds went southeast around 2:30, and then the temperature started dropping through the 80s to the low 80s pretty quickly, actually. It went from 90 at 2:15 to, just 10 minutes later, it dropped to 84 at 2:25. That's really interesting. So that's the effect of the sea breeze there, lowering the temperatures, and it did so quite well at JFK. I think it was pretty pronounced, actually, because it was pretty warm before that sea breeze kicked in. So actually I want to do a look at Wonder Map for a moment so we can look at a few more sites and show you the effect of the sea breeze, what it had, because again it was pretty pronounced. We'll go and look at Long Beach here, and you'll see the effect of it. We'll see, probably get a nice little yep, there it is right there. So you can see how the temperatures were rising, and then right around the sea breeze kicked in there around 1:30. It went from 86 down to 81. So yeah, that's the effect of the sea breeze. Pretty remarkable. We can also look at Belmore as well, a little further inland. So you can see the effect of that sea breeze again, and not quite as dramatic as Long Beach over there. You can sort of see came in around 2:14. It went from 85 down to 81. But yeah, before the sea breeze came in, it was kind of warm. Yeah, the humidity wasn't high, but felt better when the sea breeze came through. It definitely made for much better conditions across the area, more comfortable conditions, and somewhat better air quality. Let's go to the CONUS view here. So this will give us a bigger picture of what's happening across the country. There's our coastal low, and you can see this moisture feed coming all the way from the tropics. Literally, very unusual to see this. Really unusual to see. There's your coastal subtropical low. Very unusual to see. You can see a lot of smoke across the country, though. A lot of smoke in the northeast, in the west, in the Midwest, and California. Really, looks like a really bad situation over there. Let's go and look at the view from, we'll do the U.S. Pacific Coast view here. And you can see the fires really just, yeah, really bad situation here. You can see all the smoke. This fire, the Park Fire, is like, what is it now? Over, I don't even know how big it is now. 400,000 acres now. I'll Google that. But we have another fire over here going in Southern California as well. I can look up Park Fire. Let's see what the Park Fire is now at. Let's see. 4 hours ago, it's let's see. It is so they have it up to 350,000 acres now. Really, and it's threatening paradise again. Remember that fire that destroyed a good chunk of paradise? Well, this fire might take care of the rest of it. But yeah, there's a lot of smoke here. You can see. We'll take a closer look. Go to the Pacific Northwest view here. So give us a closer picture of what's happening here. And you can see, yeah, this fire is just exploding. You can see all the smoke that's traveling to Montana. And then we have another one here also that's really just, you can see all these fires going. So the smoke's going to be an issue for a while. Can also do Northern Rockies as well. Oh, yeah, look at that. It really shows up all the smoke. So they're really dealing with some thick smoke right now. Montana and, yeah, Wyoming into this area here. Really, they got some pretty smoky conditions. And that smoke will definitely be making its way into our area eventually. So let's look at the Canadian northern. See how Canada's doing at least. And, yeah, it doesn't look like I see any huge smoke plumes. Oh, yeah, though there's a big one over here. It looks like there's another big fire in northern Alberta, it looks like. Yeah, let's go to that one. Yeah, there's a big one over here you can see underneath these clouds. This fire is going crazy over here. Looks like northeastern British Columbia, northwestern Alberta. There's just tremendous amounts of smoke coming from that fire too. So we have fires all over. There's still the ones in Oregon too. It's just a really bad, very bad situation for sure. So I want to go back to the East Coast though and look at our coastal system. So let's go to U.S. Atlantic coast. So here's our subtropical low. I kind of want to use the GLM flash. See if we're seeing a lot of lightning around it. Nope, this one. We are seeing some lightning. There is some lightning popping up here. There is some, but this is a tropical feed that's coming from this system here. You can see it again. Here it is on the MODIS satellite. You can see that tropical feed coming all the way down from the tropics. All the smoke that we have here, and then they're watching some system in the tropics here. Can't really see it too well on here, but we'll talk a little bit about it here. This is an area that's got they have it as a 0% chance of cyclone formation, but this will have to be watched. That this could become something here. Right now, they don't really have it, and we'll talk about that more, I think, in the future. Looking at the weather map right now, you can see we got this subtropical low that's kind of just along a stalled front, I guess, that kind of just backing up, very unusual to see, and that will move into coastal New England and then up into interior New England tomorrow, and we're going to have dealing with rain chances through much of this week as we deal with another unsettled weather pattern. Between dealing with the ridge and you can see here that's what we got day 2, day 3. QPF, we can look at the rainfall day 1 through 5, and you can see it definitely has it. We could see an inch. Again, it's a scattered nature from these showers and thunderstorms, but unfortunately for the west, yeah, no rain days 1 through 7. That's not what we want to see at all with all those fires. There isn't going to be any help from Mother Nature when it comes to dealing with these fires at all. Go looking at the Storm Prediction Center, and you'll see here slight risk of severe weather on the upper Midwest, and as we go into tomorrow, Day 2, you can see the slight still in the upper Midwest over the Dakotas, and then a marginal risk as we get into the, I guess you could call that sort of the Great Lakes area there, the western Great Lakes area. And then we go into Day 3. They don't have anything for Day 3. I don't know what happened here now. This is kind of weird. Here's the Day 3, and you can see a long area of marginal risk. Not really too concerned with severe weather right now. The two things that we're watching, the tropics and all the wildfire smoke, those are the two main issues that we're dealing with right now. Let's look at some more observations. And we'll take this out. And we'll see what's going on out west in the country. And you can see heat. Again, looks like what we got. Excessive heat warning for the Midwest into Kansas there. And that's surrounded by a heat advisory. And they're dealing with some pretty significant heat over there. Yep. It looks like it got close to 100 there today. And then we've got these red flag warnings that are now in effect for parts of the Rocky Mountain areas. Utah, we're dealing with red flag warnings in Washington and Montana. And, yeah, this is so we're dealing with that. And, again, we have these existing wildfires that are continuing to be an issue. In fact, I should bring the Storm Prediction Center back up because they do cover fire weather as well. So if we go and we look at fire weather here, you could see what they have there, and you could see where they have the fire risks here. And I believe they've got a couple of products here we can look at here for fire, Day 1 fire outlook. So this kind of takes us through the days here. And again, having a little trouble loading here. The Day 2 fire outlook. Let's go to Day 2. It doesn't have any areas. Let's go to Day 3. Predictability too low. But obviously, with the conditions remaining dry out there, the fire is going to be an issue for these areas for a while. We can look at some of these observations and see Elko, Nevada, reporting haze. They're dealing with a lot of that haze from the wildfire smoke as well. Let's go into Montana because I'm sure they're dealing with it. Now is not the time you want to be visiting Yellowstone, that's for sure, because you're not gonna get any good weather there at all as well. Missoula, let's see what they've got. Don't see any restrictions on visibility. Oh yeah, there we go. There was smoke being reported. So depending on which way the wind is blowing, they're going to be dealing with smoke as well. And the smoke's going to make its way all the way into let's go look at Billings, Montana. Light rain being reported there. It doesn't look like they're dealing with any wildfire smoke at the moment. But again, there are various sites that are dealing with it. And let's see Salt Lake City, for instance. Let's see if they're dealing with any wild, because Utah is also in the path of a lot of this smoke. Don't see any smoke being reported, but I'm sure there are hazy skies. It may very well just be a loft at this point. We're going to actually go to the AQI map here. Air Now. Yeah, Air Now. That's the one. Air Now Gov. And we're going to go to the map and look at what we have here. I wanted to look at the whole country. You can see we're still in the yellow. So not a whole lot of green here. There's some green as you head toward the south, particularly Florida. But a lot of yellow, especially in the northern tier of the country. And then out west, we have some really bad air quality being reported in some of these states here, like Idaho. We've got red and even purple, which, again, really bad air quality, unhealthy. Redmond, Oregon, for instance, some of these areas here out west really dealing with some bad air quality. But then you go further south, there's better air quality as you get towards San Diego. This does also cover Canada and also bad air quality in Canada as well. Not a surprise here. But yeah, this is what's this? They got a little fire icon here, whippoorwill fire. Oh, that already happened a while ago. So they do mark fires on this map as well. It's a pretty good site to go to, airnow.gov. And the other thing we can also look at here are the gases that are also being generated by these fires. If we go to earthnullschool.net, we can go to chemicals, and we can go and look at sulfur dioxide, for instance. You can see these fires generating it. You can see quite a bit of it in the east. carbon monoxide as well. I'm surprised it's not higher than this, but you can see there's definitely carbon monoxide being generated by these fires. Quite a bit of it in the east too, as well. And we can also do nitrogen dioxide as well. So we can do all these different things, and then we can go to particles and go to PM 2.5, and those kind of show you where the particles are. You can see a lot of smoke coming out of Canada, smoke coming out of the west. So, not like I said, you want to look for deep blue. Oddly enough, there is some deep blue over Arizona and some over Florida as well. So, yeah, these are good sites to look at for that kind of stuff. So, let's talk about the weather we have coming up. Or actually, we'll first go over I don't usually do this. I don't want to do this all the time, but because it was kind of warm today, we'll kind of show you the observations. High of 85, low of 66. 1 degree above normal today. Yesterday at Islip was hotter. If we go to yesterday, let's go to yesterday's reading. No, it got up to 85 there too, so I guess it didn't hit. All right, so nothing really remarkable here. No huge anomalies here as far as temperatures go, though. Central Park did get up to 89, so they were 2 degrees above normal. But no real huge anomalies with temperatures. So let's go look at our models here, and we'll first start with the GFS, the jet stream that we have to work with right now. And you'll see here that the jet stream is really just in a mess. A lot of broken segments. You can see this cut-off area here that's kind of cut off. That's what's forming this low pressure area that's moving through and bringing us the rain chances overnight. And then you can see not really a whole lot of a jet stream here to work with. So that kind of keeps us in a, stuck in a rather unsettled pattern. The jet stream, whatever is left of it, is way up in Canada. And there really isn't much of a change here until we get maybe toward August. Maybe it's starting to show a few troughs come through, but you see that it's trying to also have a cutoff low over the southeast here, which will kind of temper the heat a little bit, I guess. Would be hotter if it wasn't for that. But yeah, not a great situation. We'll go look at the upper air heights. And you can see there's your cutoff. You got a big ridge over in eastern Canada. A little bit of troughing in over Alaska, but look what happens. We got more ridging in the west again as we get toward next week now. But because it's going to be ridging in the west as we get toward next weekend, that might help to bring a little bit of troughiness in the east. And again, that would temper any crazy heat that we would have. And then it shows a deeper, as we get further into August, maybe some deeper troughs. They're also showing a couple of tropical systems, of course, way out in the long range there. So let's look at, and I'm not even going to bother with the Euro because at this point, there just isn't much of a, the Euro has been so unreliable lately, so it's like I'm not even going to look at it right now. I think the GFS is doing a pretty good job. So let's go and look at the surface. And actually, we'll first do our temperature anomaly chart just to show you what we have as we head into this week. So you'll see temperatures not really very much above normal in our area. The heat's in the Midwest. It's also in eastern Canada, though there is some cooler weather in northwestern Canada and the west. So that'll help at least a little bit with the fires, even though there really probably won't be that much rain. We'll look at that in a moment. You'll see here, for us, not really dealing with any really big heat. Starts heating up a little more as we get toward the end of the week. And then the heat starts building in the west and western Canada again as we get toward the weekend and next week, which is not going to be good for the fires. That could get worse again. Does show some cooler air trying to make its way down from eastern Canada, perhaps, as we get into the middle of August. But it doesn't show at least any crazy heat for us. The worst the heat seems to be in the Midwest and then later on in the west. But that's not a good situation for those areas already dealing with the wildfires. Total accumulated precip here. You'll see that the west kind of stays dry. Western Canada also not really a whole lot of precip. It's not until we get toward maybe later in the August that maybe you start seeing some rain falling over British Columbia, but still not really making its way too far into Alberta at all, and still staying very dry in the west. So no real relief from the fire situations that they're dealing with in the west, unfortunately. So let's go look at the surface map. And you'll see here that we have our stalled, kind of a stalled frontal boundary again. I wouldn't say it's a stalled frontal boundary because the front's like way up. There isn't really a frontal boundary. We're just in a humid flow that's going to result in pop-up showers and thunderstorms. A little more of an impulse comes through on Wednesday that could trigger some more, and then behind it we're a little bit drier for Thursday and Friday, which behind it it's probably going to heat up, and then we start seeing again more of that, just shower chances, and then going into the next week, you see there aren't really any fronts that come through. Here's a high that tries to build down, and then of course there's a tropical system there. That far out is impossible to predict. Not even going to try at this point. And of course it also has something forming. Yeah, it has something forming on the Gulf now. This is something that's been consistent with the GFS. It has something forming in the Gulf and then making its way. But this is over a week. Yeah, over a week away. So I'm not even going to take that too seriously at that far out. No, not going to do that. So let's take a closer look at our area now that we've seen all that. And we'll go look at our short-range models here, such as the HRRR. And we'll take a look and show you how this rain is going to come on in. So here's our little subtropical when you'll see the rain move from east to west. Showers, possible thunderstorms. I mean, to mainly noon tomorrow, and then it starts improving from west to east. However, in the afternoon, we're still going to have a humid air mass in place, and any heat of the day instability could pop up a shower or thunderstorm, though nothing severe at this point. Then again, you never know. They always seem to underestimate that. Tuesday looks a little bit quieter. You could see the isobars lining up for a pretty strong southerly flow on Tuesday. So hopefully, they'll clear some of the smoke out. But we'll have to look at the smoke models for that. So here are your dew points. Obviously, they'll be on the rise. We'll have southerly winds tomorrow, light southerly winds. The dew points rise even more on Tuesday, where we have dew points now rising up to close to 70, and a strong southerly wind. So look at our temperatures here. And you'll see tomorrow showing cooler temperatures over Long Island, where there'll be more cloud cover. So probably not that warm tomorrow, probably around 80 again, because there'll be plenty of cloud cover around. But Tuesday, we have less cloud cover. It's showing temperatures getting close to 90 in Jersey and well into the 80s across Long Island. Let's go into the GFS here. We'll look some more at our dew points and wind flow on the GFS. So you'll see that we have the southerly flow. Southerly flow continues on Tuesday, a little stronger. And then Wednesday, yeah, look at those dew points really crank up on Wednesday. And that's going to be a more active day. And maybe that's a day we could see some severe weather perhaps over our area with those very high dew points and strong southerly flow. And then Thursday, we go to we have slight less humidity, but we go to more of a westerly flow to start, southerly flow later in the day, which means it's going to heat up. And then here we are on Friday dealing with the humidity. You can see there's no relief from the humidity once we get into it. Next weekend, we'll be dealing with humidity. And then Sunday, maybe a little bit of relief. But, yeah, you got to stall frontal boundary again as we get toward next Monday. So that would be our next front that might try to make it through. But don't get your hopes up on that. Temperatures. Here's the GFS. And then as we get into Wednesday, right, it's not showing too hot. It's still showing only 80s for the most part, but then Thursday things are going to heat up. Inland, you're going to be dealing with 90s. Probably Nassau County also dealing with 90 or better. Suffolk mid to upper 80s, and that on the South Shore. So be a little bit better on the South Shore. And then another hot one on Friday. Again, most of the heat's going to be inland. Jersey, you're going to be dealing with the worst of it once again. And then Saturday, still dealing with heat. So we definitely got another heat wave shaping up from inland areas. I think here we are Sunday still. No real relief from the heat. Nothing, like I said, nothing extreme, nothing record-breaking, but it's going to be getting hot again, basically. You can see the heat mainly being inland, and you can see not really a whole lot of relief here as we go into the real long range here until we get to the real long range, super long range. With that far out, who knows if it's even going to come at this point. So I want to look at a few more models. Well, I don't know if they're in yet. That's what I'm kind of looking at. I wanted to go to the dam in a minute, but let's take care of the sky cover first. We'll go to the sky cover here on the GFS. Obviously, plenty of clouds around with this subtropical low. Same thing tomorrow. Tuesday, probably decent amount of clouds. Wednesday, decent amount of clouds. Thursday, we might see a little more sunshine, but it'll be hot. And then Friday, again, more. This model makes it look worse than it actually is, but you can see, and then it tries to push some kind of front offshore on Sunday, but it's still going to be hot. a little drier. So that's what we have on the GFS cloud forecast. I don't like using the GFS too much for the clouds. So let's go to the RGM instead, which gives us a higher resolution. And because the GFS can be it looks like it's overdone when you look at the GFS. But tomorrow we will have plenty of clouds, maybe a few breaks of sun toward the afternoon. And then Tuesday we'll start off with clouds and maybe, again, a few breaks of sun, jet junket. Who knows, we might have some haze in there too. I don't think we'll have a nice looking sky at all. Wednesday, we're dealing with a lot more clouds on Wednesday. And then Thursday, well, we don't go that far out on that run. So let's look at the NAM. This is why I kind of want to look at the NAM. We only have 21 hours of it in the latest NAM, but I want to look at this and see what it's doing with the rain. So here's our subtropical low again. So here's the rain, and you can see it's very scattered. Very scattered. So out to 21Z, if we do look at the total accumulated precip, remember we only have so far out. It seems like the model, at least the NAM, is saying we're not going to see much rain at all. The NAM is really showing it to be kind of on the dry side. Now, the HRRR, let's go ahead and look at that one. HRRR is a little bit better for the east end, but notice how the models have scaled it back now. So it looks like, maybe they overdid this low a little bit, but it's showing east end now. You'll be lucky if you can get a half an inch. There's one area over Rhode Island that could be 2 inches. But other than that, it's really not showing much at all. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go to the Climate Prediction Center. 8 to 14 day. We'll start with the 6 to 10 day. So, well above normal in the west. Exactly where you don't want it. Exactly where you don't want it. Right where those fires are going. That's not a good situation at all. Excellent chance of above normal. The whole country is. We're going to be above normal temperatures too. Slight chance of above normal precipitation for us in the southwest. Otherwise, northwest below normal precipitation and below normal in the midwest as well. 8 to 14 day. Same deal again. Though we start seeing an area of near normal in the northern Great Lakes area. Precipitation chances slightly above normal. The west stays dry, except for the southwest. If we can get some of that above normal, a little more north, and further into California, maybe that could help a little bit with the fire situation there. So let's lastly go to the smoke models. And, all right, we have nothing there. Let's go to the 21Z. All right, here we go. 21Z RAP, we'll start with the vertically integrated smoke. And you can definitely see, look at all that smoke that's going to make its way east. Eventually, we're going to get into that for sure, that thick smoke from Cal. It doesn't really show any relief from the smoke. Here we are into the 30th here, so it's still showing smoke in our area, vertically integrated smoke. So if the sun does come out, it's probably going to be hazy at this point. With that, and you can see, again, that big cloud of smoke that's heading from west to east from California. I think we may be dealing with that when we get toward Wednesday or Thursday. Let's now go to the near surface smoke. So here's the near surface smoke, and you can see a little bit over the east. And you can see that big cloud again making its way. It'll be interesting to see if that smoke is going to get to near the surface. But you can see that from that California situation. You can see also what's going on up in Canada as well in this model now. We'll shift over to the HRRR, which has a little bit better resolution. Because there's more than one smoke model, and the smoke models have always kind of underestimated. All right, like it's the 0Z run, right? That goes, yes, the 0Z run. So vertically integrated smoke on the HRRR smoke model here. You can see, look at all that big cloud of smoke there. It's coming our way. So yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to see any relief at all from this. Yeah, that big. You have to be in the only area where you're going to get clean air is Florida. Really, pretty much that's it. Otherwise, the rest of us are going to be dealing with this. And you see that low. We're not really going to get I was hoping we would get a nice southerly flow from Florida because that would help, but it does not look like we're going to get that, and that's going to bring some more of that smoke in. So this is the HRRR, which definitely looks worse. I think the HRRR is doing a better job. We'll do the near surface smoke. You can see we definitely have some near-surface smoke in the east. And we'll have to see how that smoke from the... You can see a lot of states just dealing with near-surface smoke as well. So, yeah, as far as blue skies, I don't know, man. I don't know when that's going to happen at this point. Right now, this is the kind of pattern we're kind of stuck in. So, with that, I think we wrap up this Long Island weather update and outlook. Have a good night. And as far as when the next one will be, probably as we get toward Tuesday, I guess. I don't think I'll do one tomorrow, but if anything unusual happens tomorrow, I'll do one. But other than that, we'll be back on Tuesday night.